In this video, I want to cover how employers can fire employees with kindness and empathy. So I have to admit right off the bat, I got this idea from Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'll have a link to his article down below about this. He had 3 points, and I'm going to add a couple of my points to this as well. But it's a key concept for employers on how to approach the termination and separation of an employee and to do it with respect. So Gary Vaynerchuk, in his article, first point he makes is try not to let the firing come as a surprise to the employee. Give them enough feedback and help them perform better. I mean, this is just a great management concept overall, but it's also a good concept when the employer has to defend any kind of termination decision. And it's always better if the employee understands where the employer is coming from. And if you do it this way too, there's probably a lot of documentation that you've been working with the employee, giving the employee every opportunity to get better, but they just, for whatever reason, haven't been a good fit with the company. So that's a really good concept that Gary Vaynerchuk puts out there. His second point is to help the employee to get another job where they might even get paid more money. The concept here that Gary Vaynerchuk uses is kind of the reverse concept that you hear a lot of employees discussing, that you don't want to burn any bridges with your employer. On the flip side, employers don't want to burn bridges with their employees as well. So if the employee is leaving, try to maintain that relationship, and you never know where they land. They might be able to refer your company more work or have some type of business opportunity for you in the future. Gary Vaynerchuk's third point is to be willing to work with the employee on a narrative on why they're leaving the office before they leave, so that they can leave with respect. I think this is a key, very important issue. And I think if you treat the employees with respect as they're separating from the company, this is going to buy a lot of goodwill for the company and probably avoid a lot of litigation too. And it's just a simple matter of what the employer is going to say, why the employee is leaving, and allow the employee to say that as well while they're walking out. And it raises a point too. I've had a case years ago where I believe the litigation was driven because the employee was not allowed to walk out through the office and say goodbye to their office mates, but instead was told to walk on the outside of the office to pick up their final paycheck over at HR. And because the employee was not allowed to just say bye to their fellow employees, I think that's where the employee really became upset and felt like they were treated with disrespect, and it led to a large lawsuit just because of that simple fact of having the employee walk to get their final paycheck on the outside of the company. So those are the 3 points Gary Vaynerchuk raises. My 2 additional points are the first point's dealing with how to document employees and write them up. First, you need to be accurate with documenting employees, but do it with respect. Avoid generalizations like poor attitude or you just don't get along with employees, things like that. You see that all the time in write-ups. It's not good to have these generalizations, though. Use concrete examples and say, for example, you've been tardy 3 times this week and on these dates with examples, or I didn't like how you interacted with that customer when you said this in response to their comment, such and such. Key concrete examples is really going to go a lot further, and I think be more respectful to the employee as well in the long run. And finally, all employers, especially here in California, need to develop an end of employment checklist. Just a common checklist, all the documents that are given to the final employees, final documents given to them, final paycheck, make sure that's calculated properly, and all the notices are given to the employee. In California here, it's actually becoming quite a process, and quite a few notices have to be given to employees. So it's good to develop a checklist to make sure that it's ensured and done properly, done consistently for all the employees. So those are my 5 points. And again, I took 3 from Gary Vaynerchuk. I want to give him credit for that. And if you have any comments or questions, please post those. And it really helps if you subscribe to the channel. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.